Hello and welcome. I am Father Marcus, and this is the Digital Gospel, also known as Marcus Rambles. Now, not so long ago, I encountered a bizarre, strange, but ultimately enjoyable little game called Faith.
A retro-style horror game in the vein of Atari games of the early 80s. If you haven't seen that video, I will provide a link in the description below, but to sum up my feelings, I found Faith to be delightful. It was scary as fuck, but delightful.
And I never, in a million years, ever thought I'd be contacted by the creator of Faith themselves, Airdorf Games. Not only did they see the video I made and liked it, but they also sent me a copy of Faith Chapter 2 for free, so thank you, Airdorf Games. I appreciate the opportunity greatly. You're making the Jesus smile, which makes you good in my book. My good book! So, how does Chapter 2 in this story of good versus evil stack up to its predecessor? Spoilers pretty goddamn well.
Faith is a game series in which you take the role of a priest and do battle against demons of the night, but also against thy own self. If the first game eased you into things with its slow and atmospheric tone and narration, then Faith Chapter 2 is a bullet train to Terror Town. Upon starting a new game, they just drop you in a house that greatly upsets me. There's these Polaroids strewn throughout the home, and each one depicts a child slowly transforming into something. What is it with Polaroids being gross in the media? Like, why is that? They either hold happy memories, or they contain just the most absolutely fucking disgusting imagery. There's no in between.
I fear the day I have to go into an old attic and find a box of Polaroids, because I know I'm going to see some shit, just some heinous filth of the highest degree.
These ones aren't gross per se, they're just fucked up and disturbing, especially when you understand that this is a child we're looking at. So, all around, it's not that bad.
And then we go into the basement.
Nope. I am fucking out of here. There is a naked child demon strapped to a bed.
Come on out with your hands above your head, pervert!
Oh, shit. Well, didn't think I was gonna have to come to this. In all honesty, though, congratulations, Airdorf Games. You're the only game dev that I can think of that has the testicles to start your game off with a horrible naked child demon breaking free during a bloody exorcism. A child demon, a demon child, if you will, that is quickly revealed to be Pigman. At least, I think it's Pigman. He looks the same and moves the same, and he also says this. There's also no real indication of what time period this takes place in, so this could be before the events of Faith Chapter 1.
Now that's a strong opening. And it's also indicative of the rest of the game, and a strong contrast to its predecessor.
The opening to Faith Chapter 1 was rather tame. It has this cheery church music going on, there's a cute tutorial you can go through, you wander around the forest with not much going on. Like I said, it eases you into things. Chapter 2, though, there's no music. Hell, there's not even a tutorial on how to play. You jump into the game and already you're being hit by atmosphere, as the same red used in the last building you enter in Chapter 1 is present here. It's not the same house, but it still does the job of letting you know two things.
Chapter 1 was where you get started. Chapter 2 ain't fucking around.
The game somehow looks better than its predecessor, which is staggering when you think about it. It's the same graphical style, but Airdorf Games have allowed themselves the freedom of artistic creativity by simply changing up the environments. The first game really only had two major locations, the forest and the house, which they look good, but then you look at the locations in the sequel.
Location, 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 that's the name of the game, baby.
We go to a graveyard, a dilapidated church, an underground sewer network, the domain of a horrid child-eating demon wench.
And they all look amazing. The graveyard is one of my favorite locales.
This somehow, despite its limitations, makes me think of Bloodborne's gothic architecture. I love the statues here, they're so imposing, and if you're fresh off the heels of the first game, you're still in that grace period of expecting a demon to bum rush your Sunday school loving ass. My favorite statue in the whole graveyard has got to be this one. This thing is so metal looking, and that's what I love about graphics like this.
I may not have grown up with games of this era, but I totally understand the mentality of your imagination doing 70% of the work. In my mind, this is one metal statue.
Let's go back to what I said about expecting a demon to jump you. That's one of the bigger changes I noticed in this game from the previous one. It seems like Airdorf games have tried really hard to vary up the gameplay, as you don't just wander around, find notes, and occasionally fend off a demon with your mighty crucifix. Yes, the notes are still present, and yes, you still engage the forces of Satan in spiritual combat! But other than that, much more has been done to make the game interesting without sacrificing the simplicity of the control scheme. You still only have 2 controls, move and crucifix. I'm genuinely impressed.
Oh, what is this? What is this I get? Oh, it must be some form of EVP, otherwise known as electronic voice phenomenon. Let's have a gander at this. Ah, yes, the story. Thank you, spirits. Gonna be honest. I might have been talking out of my ass last time.
I still don't quite understand a lot of what's going on here, but it does make a bit more sense now. Amazingly, we do return to our original protagonist.
Who I have discovered has a name.
John. Father John.
Amazing. Faith Chapter 2 seems to be more focused on John as a character, building him up a bit more, making his backstory more prominent. Faith Chapter 1 had multiple endings, something Faith Chapter 2 has. Boy, howdy does it!
I was a little confused as to which ending is the canon ending of the first game, but thankfully I reached out to Airdorf Games and they set the record straight. The ending in which you shoot Pigman, you know, the ending in which he gets face-fucked by a truck, this is the canon ending.
Which, now that I know this, kind of makes the ending of the first game really sad. Because John doesn't save the girl in the end.
There's a scene in Chapter 2 where you confess your sins, and John talks about how he feels he failed previously.
Pray for me, Father, for I have sinned. I tried to save a girl from evil, but my fears overcame me. I turned my back on the ministry and broke my vows to God. A year later, the girl reached out to me again, but in the end, I couldn't save her. I left her to die.
For a game that looks like this, it has some pretty great characterization, not gonna lie. That being said, though, where the hell are we? John just sort of wakes up in the middle of the forest.
It's only 7 o'clock.
I'm really curious as to what happened here. What transpired between the ending of Chapter 1 and the beginning of Chapter 2? Did John black out? Were we teleported here by demons? We start the game in what looks to be a pentagram of stone. Is Johnny Boy one of those Irish Catholics? Have himself a bit too much of the Sunday service wine?
Oh, fucking God. What happened? Where am I? Whose gun is this? Where are my pants?
Regardless, I'm gonna chalk this opening up to being an attempt at being mysterious and vague intently. This is also where we get our first location, the beautiful graveyard I mentioned beforehand. Slightly before that... That's what you get, you sacrificial bastards!
Okay. This is fucking hilarious.
You find a note that basically says you can save your progress at the Save Family Memorial. It's a memorial for a family whose last name was Save. That's just adorable.
This is also a great example of some of the changes made to the flow and design of Faith.
Chapter 1 was a survival horror game with some scavenger hunt-like gameplay. Explore the forest, find what you need, explore the house, find what you need.
Shoot this motherfucker!
But here, you're given instruction without being told explicitly what to do.
The best kind of instruction.
You enter the Save Family Mausoleum and meet the family. Ma Save, Pa Save, and Baby Save. You approach the mirror at the end of the hall, where we get our first genuine depiction of what John looks like. And just as I imagined, he's as white bread as I thought he'd be. That's not a complaint, I just thought it was funny. Like, John is very much what I think of when I think Father John. Oh, and also...
Oh, fuck. Okay, no more Sunday service wine. This shit's fucking me up.
But this lets us know there is a key to be had. And then 3 spookies fly off. And that's all you need to know.
There's a key. There's 3 spookies in the graveyard. Go get them.
And even if you're dense as a brick, coming back to the mausoleum actually shows you your progress via the 4 skulls on the wall. Each time you make progress in the graveyard, one of their eyes will go dark, the life snuffed out of them like a candle in the wind. Ah, shit, I didn't think this through. Now I can't read the script. Now, obviously you get the key, but I love what they do here. There's only one place that very obviously has a lock on it, and it's this gate. A gate that leads nowhere. Until... Oh! That is some Dark Souls shit right there! Boing! Acquiring the key is easier said than done.
Mortis.
3 ghostly encounters await you. One of which is a puzzle that I'm sure has something to do with these statues, but for the life of me, I'm not exactly sure what the solution to the puzzle is, despite having completed this fight multiple times. And then there's actually physically retrieving the key. Fuck, that's a bummer! Ah. But, on the other hand, you do get to wear an eye patch like a cool guy. And nothing says cool guy like a demon-battling priest with an eye patch. I'm actually kind of jealous. What's happening? Wait, whoa, 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 no, no, no. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. I take it back, I take it back, I take it back. No, 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 no! Ow. Ow, it hurts. I think the cutest little detail is the fact that you leave a blood trail behind you as you move around. And if you're skilled enough in the art of walking, you can write your name. Ta-da! Initially, I thought this was just a neat little detail, but upon further inspection, I am wrong. I don't normally read these kinds of things, but I was curious and read the README file that comes with the download for this game, and I made a small discovery. There is a hidden demon fight. After having your head mistaken for the front door of a house, you can travel back to the spot you started it and draw a pentagram. My god, video games are a gateway to Satan. Jack Thompson was right. Fuck Jack Thompson. This took me longer than I'd like to admit. You think you know how to draw a fucking star until you're pressured into doing it, then you're suddenly 2 years old and don't know how to hold a fucking pencil. This is really cool, but it doesn't really lead to much. Just a note talking about how John was in a hospital. A detail that was mentioned in the previous game that I took for granted. John was in a hospital, and it happened before the events of Faith Chapter 1 and 2. Faith as a whole seems to be telling a much more grander story than what I initially thought previous. I thought the game's story was simple but kinda all over the place, but as it turns out, the story may be more intricate than I first thought. However, given its disjointed and incomplete nature, it's hard to truly say what the story is, because John has more to do with the story than you would think. We may never truly know what's going on until the rest of the story is told. Which means it looks like tonight won't be my last encounter with Faith. And I welcome that. Now let's talk about how goddamn obtuse some of the puzzle solving is. From what I can gather, the game does have 3 endings. Airdorf Games told me so, but fuck me if I can figure out how to get the 3rd ending. Seriously, I found a walkthrough for the first game, which helped me out big time, but I can't find shit on the endings of Chapter 2. Airdorf specifically told me that I had to follow instructions found in one of the notes, but I have no idea which note it is. Plus, there's a mystery to be solved in terms of these notes. Looking online, it seems that some of the notes aren't yet made available, I think? They might be added in later chapters, I think? There's 2 coming soon spots on the main menu, so who knows what's in there. The most bizarre thing, though, is that one of the note pages says this: "Can't seem to remember this note." The fuck does that mean? There's this part where you're in an underpass and there's a big fat arrow off to the side.
How did I not see that the first time I played this?
And if you follow it, you can find a break in the wall that has some kind of field of psychic energy. Chapter 2 is full of mysteries. Mysterious mysteries. Getting the second ending is a mystery in of itself. Looking back at it, I can kind of see how you were supposed to put the pieces together, and I am glad that I found it because it led to one of the most uncomfortable scenes in a video game that I've played in a long time. So consider this my call to arms. If any one of you can figure out how to get the 3rd ending of this game, I welcome it. Hell, I'll carry you across the gates of Valhalla, I mean heaven myself. I'm sure the answer is somewhere in the game, but I'm painfully stupid. I mean, come on, only an idiot stabbed himself in the eye. I will be returning to Faith Chapter 2 in a follow-up video that I plan on doing, so hopefully one of you is smarter than me. Until then, consider your days numbered, Ending 3. Let's talk about demons. The first game had 2 lethal obstacles in your path: Pigman and the girl you were trying to save. Not bad, especially for a short little Atari-esque video game. Remember how I said Faith Chapter 2 wasn't fucking around? Yeah, well, this time there's at least 7 different vile Satan spawns trying to end your miserable life. Holy shit! John pissed somebody off. I'm not sure who, but damn! That's a lot of evil. I mean, we're hitting Evil Dead levels of evil. That's a lot of evil. Your main antagonist this time around is a demonic female figure who devours the souls of children. But there's tons of other shit thrown at you. These things, that thing, this motherfucker. It's nuts. It's nuts. The music is better than it was in the first game, along with the sound design in general. One classic track comes back from the first game and gave me this really off-putting feeling of nostalgia. Like driving past the house your family was murdered in or something. It's a feeling that's a combination of, oh yeah, I remember that place, and I remember it all. But there's also a great usage of sound in general here on display. The first game used silence to a striking degree, and the sequel is no different. The game knows when to shut up and let you be scared, something I have to commend Erdorf Games for. Every time I say Erdorf, I think of Stevendorf. And whenever I think of Stevendorf, I think of Blade. And whenever I think of Blade, I am constantly reminded that some motherfuckers are indeed always trying to ice skate uphill. This is how my brain works. I'm sorry. Going back to sounds and such, there's a lot more of that creepy digital synthetic voice stuff that the first game used sparingly. Here, though, there's a lot more of it. Like, a lot more of it. The final boss actually has a constant speech going on. Not necessarily a bad thing, it feels like Faith Chapter 2 is going in a different direction, more story-focused than the first. They've also upped the ambient sounds to 11. And hey, holy shit, they fixed the walking! John moves so much faster in this game. It's a godsend. I mean, using your crucifix still turns your legs into stone, but come on, man. Channeling the power of the Lord is some serious restraining stuff. Or maybe he's scared stiff. I don't know. They added a flashlight to this game, and I hate these parts, but only because they are genuinely terrifying and excellently well done. I think it's funny that this game has a better flashlight than, like, 90% of other horror games. Come on, guys, you gotta up your flashlight game. Alan Wake is beating you guys senseless. One of the more interesting choices they made was in the final boss fight itself. The demon is so powerful that another priest joins the fight. You may recognize this priest as he's the one from the beginning of the game. You do have to protect him from other stuff during the fight, and if you're not careful, he can bite the dust. But when you stand them together just right, you can make it look like Father John is a stand user. And this fight is hard too, but it's the good kind of hard. The kind that challenges you, the kind that makes you go, okay, I've got it this time. Let's do this. This chick is toast!
今あなたがいます。
何？
Damn. Faith Chapter 2 is a great game. It's a bit longer than the first, but not by much. And my analogy of Halloween candy from the last time around still stands strong. It's a nice, simple, sweet little surprise that you can enjoy when the lights are turned down low, you're snug in your favorite fall sweater, and the volume on your computer is turned up just a touch too loud. I want to thank you all for joining me, listening to me ramble in the dark like a madman. I'm Marcus, and I hope you'll join me next time.
The fuck? Oh. Seems the spirits of the afterlife have one last word for us. Let's hear what they have to say.
Going to be good enough. You have to sit through not one, but 2 more chapters of this nightmare.
That's not very cash money of you. Just gotta put. I'm just saying. Oh no, they've come for me. They finally come for me. The demons, they found me. All right, I'm ready. I'm ready for you. I have the Lord on my side. Fuck the park. Let's go! Ow. Fuck, that hurt. Ugh. What? Where am I? Find my phone on me? No, Jesus Christ! Oh, fucking God! What?
Oh, what's up, dude? Come on in, man.
This is the hard part, but I mean, it's not that hard.
Oh shit! Oh! So what the fuck happened to you?
Demons took my eye.
Oh, I can get that for you, man. No problem.
It doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt. I can see. Holy shit, you are Jesus!
I mean, yeah.
Thank you, God. Thank you so much. You gave me my eye back and you saved me from demons. Is there anything I can do to repay you?
I don't know. Do you want to get fucked up?
Yes? Okay, despite what's going on here, I want you all to have a happy and safe Halloween. Don't do as I do as I say. Be safe, have fun, go nuts.